Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the Bat Chat 15555. It's the Tier 9 French SPG on the north spawn of Pearl River Encounter under the command of Angelina75. Well, I think we just saw an improved rammer, a improved rotation device, and the speed, or the turbo. Now, this is Angelina's response to Talon 1958 from last week. Yes, I know it's been a late coming, but it has reached us. Angelina has to beat a third-class tanker from Talon from last week. Enemy's been spotted. Angelina getting a line, but unfortunately the turret hasn't turned round yet. Until you can see the reticule, you know that the turret hasn't turned, but it has now. But unfortunately, Angelina hasn't got a good angle. She can fire through that gap. She does. Oh, and the shell would have hit the target if the target had stayed alive. Okay. 155mm howitzer, capable of 680 alpha, and it will penetrate through 48mm of armor. Okay, she's loaded again, waiting for the M103 to come out, and she fires. Unfortunately, it hits something else that was in the way, and so she didn't get any damage from that shot. You can see Angelina has had masteries in this tank before, so it's not impossible. 28.76 seconds is the standard reload. Angelina's got 23.99 and she's loaded. Trying to get a target. Well, the only one she can see at the moment, the CC, well, there's a sharp future forward behind that house, and she completely demolishes it and takes away the cover. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that she's actually getting anything from that, but by demolishing the building, she's made it easier for her teammates to actually get shots on that Charfuture. You can see this IS-3, and somebody's requesting fire on the target. She's loaded, rounds out, and it lands right behind him for 135, gives him the stun. Changing position again. That's one of the good things about this tank, this Arty, is that you can change position very easily, and just a slight movement is enough to avoid counter battery, because it makes it very difficult for the enemy to find out where you've gone. Direct hit on the IS-3 for 228. Didn't get any other stun on the other one, not unless, of course, she got both at the same time. I don't think she did, but going for the T30 this time. He's up the other end of the corridor. Of course, he's got the 155mm gun. Rounds out on him. Direct hit right on his front. 149. Unfortunately, that's where the heaviest armor is, on the front of the vehicle. So even though that was a direct hit, it didn't yield a huge amount. But that IS-3 is now one shot, and the T30, well, he's got rid of his stun, and he just hit our T95 for 804. We hit the IS-3 and he's out the game. Angelina gets her first kill. We're 3 up on the enemy at the moment. You can see their players seem to be in the wrong spots. That T30 was waiting for his reload to come in to kill the T95. But this time round, the T95 took it out on him, and that shell just stunned the T30. You can see that 752 is now being assaulted from behind. He won't be too happy about that. Oh, that didn't work out so well. T49 got ammo-racked. And our T95, well, he just got shot in the rear by that IS-3, but he still killed the T30 in the process. And Angelina hits his rear deck for 342, so that was a really good shot as well. Now, this is an encounter battle, so it is about the cap area, and the enemy seems to have forgotten that. Yes, that 752 did kill our Sharp Future 4, but they all seem to be forgetting that it's all about the cap. Now, we're 3 up on the enemy. We're occupying the cap at the moment, and the guys who are over this side of the map are actually seem to be doing a good job. Our enemy, our teammate, rather than our teammate, the Sharp Future 4 found out where the enemy Arty was, and he's out the game. But really, now, these tanks, these enemy tanks, the 752, they're still around this area, and Angelina's hammering them. 258 from that shot alone. We're 2 up on the enemy. And again, as I say, this is all about the cap. It's an encounter battle. So tanks that are away from the cap at the moment are actually detracting from the enemy force. And whilst they do have 2 tanks in the village area, the fact of the matter is what's more important is the cap area, not the actual village. Only 3 enemies left in the game, and now it's 2. And Angelina's going to try a shot on the 752. She's just waiting for the turret to turn around. It realigned when she went forward. For a second there, she saw the M103. She could have gone for the 752, but the M103 is unfortunately in a position where we can't do anything about it. So she's moving to the cap area. Going to make her presence felt there. There's only 1 enemy left. The M103 just went down. So yes, there's only that 752 left. Angelina's going to go behind the cap so she can still keep firing at the 752 as he makes his way over towards the cap area. In so many encounter battles, the players forget that it's all about the cap, and consequently they ignore it and they just get into fights with other tanks, completely forgetting what it's all about. And that's how cap outs occur. You can see our Sharp Future 4 is making a quick dash through the northern area, and unfortunately they've missed out where the enemy is as well. He's in the village. Angelina's going to hit him. Oh, she killed him with that shot and wins the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a 3rd class tanker for Angelina75 in the Bat Châtillon 155-55. She managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in that game. Well, it shows 4, but she must have got 5 in order to get the medal. And she got a win rate of 1,989, which is very good. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, she didn't get the highest damage in the game, and that actually went to the Sharp Future 4 on our team, the one that was still left alive. He got 3,706 hit points of damage. 2nd place goes to the T95 with 3,620, and the 3rd highest damage went to an M103 on the enemy team with 3,154. When it came to Angelina, she got 1,719 hit points. When it came to number of kills, though, we can see top scorer is, in fact, the T95 and the T30 on our team with 3 kills. And on the enemy team, their 752 and their Conway both had 3 kills. Angelina just had 2. But when it came to base XP, she's way down the table. Not a very good game in that sense, because she only managed to get 666 on the experience. But the top scorer was the T95, who managed 1,126. And the Sharp Future 4, who managed 1,011. Both of those managed to get over 1,000 base. Angelina did get higher than the highest on the enemy team, but only just. But it was mainly down to the fact she wasn't getting a whole lot of assists. That's where she was let down, because when she did hit the enemy tanks and stun them, her teammates weren't shooting them. So that's why she didn't end up with a better result. 12 shots fired, 6 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations, but she did get 11 splash. Damage of 1,719, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage 4 of the enemy, killed 2, and 79 hit points of stun assists of 9 stuns. Yes, that's a lot of stuns, but not a lot of stun assists. She earned a profit of 60,703 credits on a premium account and 1,998 experience points out of that game as well, including a 50,000 bonus for a mission completion. Now, does this affect Angelina's result? Well, yes, unfortunately it does, because we can see here Talon's result earlier in the week was a second class and a bruiser, not a third class as I thought. It was a second class and a bruiser, which means that he's still in the lead after that game. So yes, it was a good game for Angelina in terms of getting that last kill, but unfortunately it wasn't good when it came to the result. So Angelina needs to put in another result in order to see if she can get this weekend's lion. Well, we already know that fact, but it's the audience who doesn't know if she managed to win. So let's have a look at the second replay and see if Angelina manages to beat Talon again. In the second replay, Angelina75 is now in the M53, M55, the Tier 9 American SPG, and she's on the north spawn of Erlenberg Assault. Game on. Well, you can see 2 marks of excellence on the barrel, which means she's played this a lot, and I think she's very good at it. Let's have a look and see how she gets on. Now, it's an 8-inch howitzer. It's capable of 900 alpha, 52mm pen, 10.5 meters on the burst radius, between 12.5 and 28 seconds of stun. Angelina's ready to shoot, but she's looking for a target. I think she's found one. A Contradictious. But this one looks a better target. He's actually more out in the open. Another Contradictious. In fact, it looks like he wants to charge across the road. Well, that put a bit of stun on him. Okay, this looks a good spot. Okay, ready to go. Oh, yes, it is a good spot. There's a Revelry say here. Oh, he just got ram killed. But unfortunately, we lost the melee as well. At the same time, he got taken out by an XM56F. But that Contradictious is out in the open, rounds out. And that stunned him and gave him a bit of splash, which means that our teammate can actually get some damage. Now, you can see one of the enemy tanks, a T-54D, is getting fairly close to the cap area. You can see he's actually crawling up by the riverbank, which is not a good move at this particular point because it's very difficult to stay above the water. So Angelina fires a round in, and it looks like the T-54 just drowned. So yes, that shell might have actually had an effect upon that enemy and ended his game prematurely. Okay, the XM57, no, it's a 59, isn't it? It's actually having a bit of difficulty. No, it's a 57. I got the name wrong. It's all these new tanks that they keep bringing in. Rounds out. Looks good. Direct hits. Oh my god, that's certainly going to upset him. And he might drown as well. In fact, he has. He drowned because he found the blockage by that T-54 and he couldn't get past it. So he drowned in the water. Okay, way out there in the open is a Jagdtiger. Thinks that nothing can harm him. In the meantime, we can see this can opener. Unfortunately, our teammate is actually having to swap position with him. It's a Rambo. And now we need to go after this XM56. That was a direct hit on his side for 431. Unfortunately, we lost the Rambo, but it was a good shot on the XM. And I think we just noticed where the enemy Arty is. He's actually in grid square K3. Okay, the enemy hasn't made it any further south, but there is a UDAS 03 over on the west side of the map. She's fired another one in, just to be certain. Now that enemy tank, the UDAS 03, over on the west side, somebody's already pinging that spot. We can see the tanks to the south, but it's that UDAS which is going to be crucial, I think, in the near future. There's that Jag Tiger again. He really doesn't know anything about camouflage. Rounds out. And now he's back in the garage. That's Angelina's second kill of the game. The enemy did lose their UDAS 03, so it obviously he stayed out too open and got spotted as well. Can opener in the middle of town. You're supposed to be going the opposite direction, but you can see one of the shells actually hit the gun barrels of those two vehicles, or that vehicle. Okay, there's an Object 252U out on the west side of the map again. Angelina having a quick look. Can't see anything. Now, XM's using the scenery to good effect. But we're loaded. Rounds out. This should splash him. 146. The enemy is being held back really well on the west side of the map. The enemy does have tanks on the east side as well. And we can see that the Sharpview Tier 4 has been up near the windmill, but just never managed to get anywhere on the east side. And now they're pushing in the center. This could be awkward. The sharp future of the enemy team has actually moved up. Let's try to locate our defenders on the west side. Yes, they're pushing up in force. A Waffenträger's come into sight. Now, Waffenträgers do not do well with HE because, of course, they've got no armor. So if Angelina could put a round into that Waffenträger, he will certainly suffer. Rounds out. Oh, that one hit the building. Angelina's still the lead scorer in this game on her team. But now the enemy's managed to get rid of that Progetto that we had in place, as they are now pushing towards the cap area. So it's actually better for Angelina to move much further up the east side. She's loaded, but dialing in on the Waffenträger. Rounds out. Direct hit. And that was a penetrating shot for 971. That's a huge hit there. Still very little on the way as stun assist. Into the last 2 minutes we go. And, whoa, that 252 is in sight of our M53, M55. We're trying to keep in cover so we can get shots on him. Here he comes. We're dialed in and rounds out. Direct hit. 277. The can opener's down by the water side. And he's gone. So now it's down to the guys who are up on the hill and Angelina to keep the enemy out the cap. And there's just under a minute to go and there's somebody in the cap. And it looks like it is the 252U. But if he leaves the cap to come up for Angelina, then that could put him in trouble. Now, there is somebody there. There is. DBV152. It's not the 252. And, of course, the DBV gets hit. They've got 3 in the cap. And they can cap out if they can stay in the cap long enough. Oh, Angelina got spotted. And she was the last one alive. Here's the end of battle stats, and I'm afraid Angelina didn't get any mastery at all out of that game, mostly down to the fact that her teammates just weren't hitting the stunned tanks, so she wasn't getting an assist out of this game. She did get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, she got 16 in this game, but that was all. And her win rate was 3,965, which is Super Unicum standard, but again, she didn't manage to get the assist. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see the highest damage in our team was 2,905, and that was Angelina. But the highest damage in the game was the DBV152, who's in the cap area with 4,405, followed by the Skoda T50 with 4,186. And then we've got that XM56F who managed 3,022. Then we've got Angelina in 4th place on damage overall. But the enemy did manage to successfully get enough tanks into the cap area. And even if they hadn't managed to kill Angelina, they did get a kill shot on her just before the end. I think they would have capped out within the next 10 seconds before even Angelina had a chance to actually get a reload in so that she could fire again. So it was almost certainly going to end with a bad ending. Well, unfortunate because the team was doing fairly well earlier on in the game. They were actually keeping the enemy at bay, but then all of a sudden they just kind of fell apart and Angelina couldn't do anything more. She was the last one alive. Let's have a look at the number of kills. Well, we can see the top scorers were in fact that XM56F. 5 kills to that guy, 2 kills to just about everyone else. Angelina was one of the ones that got 2 kills. And when it came to base XP, we can see 2 players managed to get over 1,000 base, with the third one being the Sharp Future 4 with 879. And Angelina was second highest on her team with 407. But sadly, yes, it wasn't enough on that day for her teammates to actually bother to hit some of the enemy tanks that she stunned. So she would have actually got a mastery out of it. So unfortunate this one. Let's have a quick look at the details. 14 shots in this one, 6 direct hits, 1 penetration. That was the Waffenträger. 10 enemy splashes, 2,905 hit points of damage this time. 1 hit received. It was a penetrating shot and a kill shot at that. 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed. And she did get 10 stuns, but no stun assists whatsoever. She lost credits on the game for 13,995 and got 610 experience points. So she says she's not having a good week. And that was the second to last game that Angelina managed to play that week. We've got one more replay to see to find out if Angelina does win this week's contest, or last week's contest, I should say. And let's have a look at that one in a short while. I hope you enjoyed these 2 replays. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.